We did get some updates there, but it still appears that the train derailment situation in Mansfield is stable. Now, Ryan Aylesworth, the Mansfield town manager, I think probably summed up the mood in the room pursuant to that last question that you just asked when he said the initial reports of what happened were enormously alarming in his words, but ultimately he said the situation could have been worse, but it is contained. And it certainly could have been worse from a public safety perspective and from an environmental perspective. So, again, we know there's a train derailment. There were a number of cars that derailed. 13 of them, I think, in total left the tracks in some form, many of them carrying liquid propane rolled over, but the propane has not spilled. The only spill was about 2,500 gallons of cooking grease, thankfully. Now, they did mention the shelter-in-place order is still there, but they stressed it was out of an abundance of caution. So what that means is everybody within a half mile of that derailment, which was right next to Route 32 in between South Eagleville Road and Route 44, they're asking people to stay inside. They're not ordering them to. They said there's daycares in the area. If you need to go get your kid, you can go out there and go drive. But when you get home, stay inside and just keep the windows closed because the propane that's in those tanks has not had that rotten egg additive that's added to it, because otherwise propane is an odorless gas, and should it escape, they don't want it to get into your house. But it is not escaping. They said they've got propane sensors out there. They've got meteorologists checking the wind. By the way, the vapors that come off it, if it does spill, tend to be heavier than air, so they would stick to the ground. And being that it's right next to a pond, it's in a hollow. So as of right now, the big takeaway, the big effect for a lot of the people in the area is that closure of Route 32 from Route 44 down to South Eagleville Road. This is about 2 miles southwest of the center of the UConn campus. A lot of people use that road in part to get to the campus, but there are plenty of ways around it. That being said, that road is going to be closed, they said, for the rest of today, probably for tomorrow too, as they bring in a lot of heavy equipment. And when are they going to know that the situation is indeed stable and safe? They said they're bringing in experts from Maryland and Pennsylvania, some hazard spill experts coming up. They should be here tonight. So hopefully that shelter-in-place suggestion, well, it's an order, but really more of a suggestion at this point, might be lifted sometime later tonight or early tomorrow morning. We're going to have a lot more on this derailment. Obviously, it's the big story in Connecticut. Coming up on the Fox 61 News at 5 and 6 and streaming on Fox 61 Plus at 7 o'clock. I'm Tim Lammers. Have a good afternoon.